As we return to Vigilius, we have new lore regarding the Space Marines who are currently waging war there. This video is dedicated to the Wardens of the Gauntlet. I will be doing more videos dedicated to the overall lore of what's happening on Vigilius with the new book that's just been released. But for now, I just want to focus on this certain aspect of the lore since I really enjoyed it. Now, the majority of the Ultramarine forces have now left the planet of Vigilius. A small force did remain, and they and other chapters continue to fight on the planet and also the surrounding regions. The subsector itself is known as Nakmund. The chapters who have rallied to aid the subsector have taken the name the Wardens of the Gauntlet. They have each sworn vows to cleanse the heretic and the Xenos and defend the Imperial worlds with their lives. Before the coming of many of these chapters, the Nakmund subsector was protected by one chapter, the Castellans of the Rift. This is an Ultima founding chapter that has defended the Nakmund subsector and the Gauntlet itself since the birth of the chapter. The entirety of the chapter is deployed into this region of space. It is their duty given to them by Primarch Rebuti Gilliman himself. Even with their entire chapter strength deployed in this region, holding back the tide of constant darkness was too great of a task. Warp storms ravaged the subsector, communication and travel became more perilous with each passing day. Worlds fell to the ruinous powers, darkness crept in from every point. The chapter master of the Castellans of the Rift saw their sacred duty was in danger of failing. He issued an astropathic message to be sent out, a call to arms to any chapter that could lend their aid and help beat back the enemies of the Imperium. Many chapters answered this call, but due to the warp storms in the area, only some were able to coordinate their response with the Castellans of the Rift. For those who eventually made it to the subsector, oaths were sworn to help aid and purge all enemies. This is where the foundations of the Wardens of the Gauntlet were laid. These chapters, fighting side by side with each other, formed these brotherly bonds. They took the name the Wardens of the Gauntlet to honour their battles against their foes. Several of these chapters even went further. They marked their armour with images, some of armoured gloves, some with skeletal hands. Others bore sculpted fists upon their greaves and embroidered gauntlets on their sacred standards. Some even repainted one of their powered armoured gloves as a symbolic affirmation of their duty. The Wardens of the Gauntlet were made up of numerous origins. Some were entire chapters answering the call, some were portions of chapters, some were strike forces and fragmentary groups that had been tumbled out of the terrible warp storms of the Great Rift and found themselves in this subsector. Now, in the background of the video, I'm going to be going through some of the chapters that have answered the call and who's leading them and why they are here. So, of course, as you can see right now, the Castellans of the Rift, these are the ones that were deployed here by Gilliman himself, and it states, rather than a single homeworld, the Castellans of the Rift maintain a string of fortified bastion worlds and hidden rearming stations running the whole length of the Nakmund Gauntlet. They know the region like few others do, having dedicated their entire existence to its preservation. They share their knowledge and tactical expertise of the subsector with every new force that joins the Wardens of the Gauntlet. The Angels of Defiance are another one of these chapters who are in the Wardens of the Gauntlet. A demi-company of these Dark Angel successors have been witnessed fighting scant light years away from the Daravur, bearing a bone-white gauntlet as their campaign badge. Few amongst the Wardens of the Gauntlet have had any direct contact with the Angels of Defiance. Their motives to hold the region for the Imperium has been questioned at times, as they have currently refused offers of assistance from allied forces. Now, we can take from that that the Angels of Defiance are probably hunting down the fallen in this area, and they don't want assistance because, of course, they don't want anyone else to learn of the secret of the Fallen. The Crusading Sons of Dawn are also here, so the Black Templars, the warriors under Marshal Corvain, were once the Gorlas Crusade, sent to purge the Gorlas cluster before the Great Rift swallowed their fleet whole, spat out at liminal zones around the notorious pirate-haunted region of the Coroplex. Battered but alive, Corvain's fleet picked up the echoes of the Castellans' message. Now the Marshal leads his fervent warriors in a puritanical rampage through the Gauntlet's central region. So of course the Black Templars are here and they're purging their way, answering the call and launching their own little mini crusade within this subsector of space. We have the Rift Stalkers, who, if I'm not mistaken, are successors of the Raven Guard, and it states here, while many Rift Stalker fleets patrol distant reaches of the Cicatrix Maledictum, hunting down abominations that emerge from its depths, the chapter forces within the Nachman Gauntlet have more of a specific task. This force fulfills its vows of the Wardens of the Gauntlet by seeking out new routes through the region, striking swiftly against Chaos armies, blocking warp channels, and even launching blistering boarding assaults against enemy ships. So these chaps seem to be like the pathfinders of the Gauntlet, you know, seeking all the little trails that no one has found yet, and of course blocking the trails that Chaos are using with their lightning fast assaults, and just purging in the name of the Emperor. The Sons of Vulcan are here, of course. It says the Astropathic Choir of the Pyrolite, a strike cruiser of the Salamanders chapter, received psychic messages while their masters concluded the Sudorant of Borax. The noble and indomitable warriors had witnessed such vile torture and bloody sacrifices of the Borexine citizens that they vowed to hold the Gauntlet with the strength of Vulcan himself. Not until their dying breath, they swore, would Abaddon's armies inflict such atrocities again. So this is Salamanders, of course, being Salamanders. They saw Imperial citizens taking the brunt of Abaddon's sacrifices, brutality, and they stand here protecting the average citizen of the Imperium. The Sable Knights, again, I think these are successors of the Blood Angels. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It says the Strike Force Vorgas of the Sable Knights chapter have fought through blood, death, and madness in their grueling passage through the Nachman Gauntlet. They have sworn to hold the channel against all comers, but only for as long as it takes their limping vessel and few surviving navigators to travel its length. Captain Vorgas is responding to an old, distorted, astropathic summons and desperately seeks to break through into the Imperium Nifilus, where he intends to make for Baal. So yes, I am right, they are successors of the Blood Angels, and it seems that these chaps are fighting here, but they're only going to be fighting here until they can break through and get to the planet of Baal itself, because maybe Dante has a certain message they want to respond to, or something like that. Something may be going on at Baal that these chaps need to get to. As I stated at the start of the video, the reason why I wanted to cover this little bit of lore is because I absolutely love the idea of the Wardens of the Gauntlet. It's kind of like a mini Last War protocol, where all these chapters are bounding together, all from different gene heritage, and they're fighting for the common cause of course, purging chaos, the Xenos, protecting Imperial citizens, protecting Imperial space. I kind of get the idea that Games Workshop are kind of setting up Acadia 2.0 from this scenario, where we had a bunch of chapters who were, you know, sworn around that area of the, well, I won't call it the Great Rift, of the Eye of Terror, and they were stationed there to watch over for Chaos fleets coming out. We're kind of getting this now with the Nachman Gauntlet and Vigilius itself. I'm sure there's going to be more chapters added to this. For example, I know there's a small strike force of the Imperial Fist here. There's Ultramarines still there. It probably opens up for you chaps to make your own chapters and say they are a part. They are a part of the, you know, the Wardens of the Gauntlet as well. You know, it's all this lore that we can add to our own chapters and say that, you know, we're here, we're fighting, and we're purging in the name of the Emperor. Alright, Chaperonios, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. As always, if you've got any thoughts, feedback on this, post it down below as we always do. I'm going to go, have a great day, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you all very, very soon. See ya, and bye-bye.